First up, an absolutely stunning Escort Mark 1 Rally. I think it's a recreation. If it is, it's a really good one. Doesn't that look an absolute beauty? You can imagine that just driving off a rally stage anywhere. Fantastic. Isn't that stunning? Slightly modified VW Beetle, just entering. A really nice, very early Stag. I think this colour's called Pimento. I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong. Equally stunning is this absolutely gorgeous Ford Thunderbird. That's a great colour, isn't it? And what looks here like a modified Rover P6. I don't remember that colour on the original colour palette. It's certainly got a different grille at the front, and we'll have to try and find out whether it's got the same engine. And if you're in any doubt, look at that custom Viking graphic on the bonnet. That is amazing. Porsche 993. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Don't ask me too many questions about this next car. It's obviously an American custom car. I'm struggling on this one. Probably what, late 30s from the 40s originally. Comments below. Now this Mark III Escort is badged as a Gartrack, and I'm pretty sure this is the company that either converted them to rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. I'm not quite sure. As you can see from the arches, it's pretty heavily modified. And I've just checked with the owner. This is in actual fact a rear-wheel drive conversion, probably half a dozen or so in the UK that were built by Gartrack for Ford to enable rallying to continue after the Mark II Escort had finished. What an amazing car. Now this is a Mark II Ford Cortina, that's clear, but this particular one's fitted with a 3.9 litre Rover engine. So I guess this one is a bit quicker than the standard car, to say the least. Some lovely mini-like type wheels on it, and a really nice pale green colour combination with that white stripe. It looks good, doesn't it? Next up, a modified Ford Anglia. It's obviously modified, but it's got some lovely period features. I guess being G registration, it would be a 69 registration, but looks really good. Although I drove these back in the day, I only drove a 1.6, which wouldn't really pull the skin off a rice pudding, but this is a 2 litre. It's an absolutely lovely looking colour. I think the colour might be Paris blue. I seem to recall having a car in a similar colour many years ago. Whatever, this 85, 86 car's a beauty. And another Mark II Cortina in this lovely purple colour. Let's have a closer look, because I think this one is in fact a 1600E. And complete with that amazing 80s backflash on the window is a Mazda 323 from I think probably 85, 86. This is actually one of those unicorns. Probably it certainly was massively outsold by the Escorts and Astras of the time, and not that many survived. What a lovely car. Nice two-tone paint finish and subtly modified with those really nice mini-light style wheels. Looks really good. And a Mark III MR2, midship runabout 2 as it was called. This was the last MR2 that Toyota launched in the UK and has never succeeded to date. What a nice car. And a modified Mark 1 MX-5. So from right to left, a Mitsubishi Lancer, Subaru Impreza and another Subaru Impreza and a VW Beetle. And this is a beautiful early Porsche 911 and it looks like it's rally prepared. I love those lights. This one's certainly seen some action, hasn't it? And you can see the cage inside and the racing modifications. And there it is from the back. Subtly modified and fit for the track. Now this to me looks like a UK market Supra. Obviously it's right-hand drive clearly, and certainly from the look of it, it looks to be in really good condition. These are getting rarer and valuable now. It's showing on an M plate, so that would date it as a 93, 94, or maybe 94, 95, I'm not sure. But obviously it does look like a cherished plate, so I'm not sure about that. A nice E46 M3 BMW. Not too much room in that engine bay to actually work on it. And of course, a beautiful, beautiful black Mustang. This particular generation of Mustang is to me the iconic ones. Doesn't this look like a beautiful car? And then one more Mustang, another Mustang, and then one more. And this one is a GT350H. I'm pretty sure there was some connection with this H model being built for Hertz in the States. Now this split screen VW is about as low to the floor as I think you can probably get. Yeah, I don't even think we get a credit card beneath the ground and the sills on this one. It's got an interesting rat look. Let's have a look inside. And of course inside, as you'd expect, it looks pretty standard in actual fact. And for open top motoring, it's complete. The folding fabric roof. Based, I believe, on the platform of the Jaguar XJS is this Aston Martin DB7. Built, I think, in the Tom Wilkinson period. It's an absolutely lovely car. And it's got a really nice looking interior. I'm going to have a look at that next. What could be better than a beige and green leather interior? Wow. And this is a Vauxhall Victor, I think an FE Victor. Surely not so many of these left. I've only seen one before myself. Look at that badge, it looks absolutely superb, doesn't it? What a car. Really typical of its time and the American influenced styling of Vauxhall in this period. And a Sunbeam Talbot 90. Take a look at this absolutely superb Mark II Coupe. Doesn't that look great? Followed by a Moggy Minor pickup. We're going to have a look at that one later. An Alpha 6. Where did you see the last one? Porsche 968, probably I guess in Guards Red. What a beautiful car. And a Puma. The Aussie contingents arrived here with a Holden. Could this be an original Ford GT40? Not sure about that, but it's actually a beautiful looking car, isn't it? And this is a Porsche Speedster, as you can see. I'm not sure if it's a recreation or an original one, but it looks pretty good. And here's a very nice Jaguar X300 series XKR, I believe, or Sport. I'll have a look, hang on a second. And I'm right, it's an XJR. So this is a pretty powerful beast. I believe it's supercharged. And this looks like a relatively early Capri 2.8 injection on an 84 plate, 85 plate B. I think they only really were launched around about X or Y registration. I'm sure somebody will tell me if I'm wrong. And a Volvo P1800 ES. Isn't this a lovely car in that shade of yellow? And this P1800 ES is pretty well equipped for any event, and obviously that sign some of us will recognise on the back. Yep, that's the Saint. At the end of the life of the Mark II Jaguar during the BMC period, the vehicle got the smaller bumpers that you can see here. This is a 240, that's how you can recognise the difference. So these were built right towards the end of the life of the Mark II. Still a beautiful car nevertheless. Almost as famous as Blackpool Tower is TVR, and this is a TVR Chimera. Is that the correct pronunciation? Whatever, it's certainly a very different colour, isn't it? A lovely MGB. This is sporting a registration from 1980, but in actual fact does look like it's been converted to an earlier, more chrome specification, looking at the grille certainly. Arguably these Z4 coupes have the potential to be a future classic, built in relatively limited numbers. Now I'm pretty sure this is the first one I've seen, full stop, at one of these shows. It's an Alpha 6 2.5. What a rare car. It looks like an import because it's a left-hand drive vehicle, but it's in really good condition, and what an unusual vehicle to see. And from this angle you can really appreciate what an angular design it was. And this is a Fiesta 1.1 Popular Plus. It looks like it's a relatively late one, from 88, 89 maybe. Very similar to one I have myself. Unfortunately I could only just about manage to buy a 950. Those extra horses probably were worth it. Next to it, another Mark II Fiesta. This one looks like an L, looking at the fact it's got the side mouldings on. Really beautiful condition as well. And a well-loved Zephyr, probably from the early 60s. I'm not sure about the plate, I guess it's pre-63, not sure about that. And here's a Mark II Granada, a facelifted car. It's on the X plate, so probably would be, I guess, 81, 82. It's in that lovely mint green colour, but it's also sporting the wheels from the pre-facelift car, I believe. If you like gold, here's the Capri you always promise yourself. As you can see, this American is a 1970 Plymouth Duster 340. Wow, what a colour scheme. And certainly from this angle, it looks extremely appealing. And another Plymouth, this time a Plymouth Barracuda. Let's have a look from the back because it's a little bit in the sun, this one. That very distinctive front grille. I'm sure I used to have a corgi tool like this. And probably one of the best angles to really appreciate the size, the shape and the look of this car is this. Just look at those fantastic rear lights. And this time a Mark I Golf GTI. I think the owner is in the process of restoring. So it's a nice base car to start with, isn't it? And where would we be without a Mark III so-called Coke bottle Cortina GT? Isn't that lovely? fancy a beach buggy, or 2, or 3, or 4, you've come to the right place. Left-hand drive, as indeed in all cases, this is an E30 BMW M3, as you can see. Looks like it's got some superb BBS rims, and from the back, that distinctive raised boot line of the M3. Probably the classic, the one to have, but not as noisy as that. This era of vehicle's probably a bit alien to me, but it certainly looks like a pre-war MG sports car. I'm sure somebody can comment and let me know and put me out of my misery. What a lovely car. And here's that MG, if you can hear me, just leaving the shop. A 65, 66 Triumph TR4, and it's badged as the IRS, which I think is independent rear suspension. Again, feel free to comment and let me know if I've made an error on that one. Nevertheless, it's a beautiful car. And with the bigger back window, this is an Austin A35. What a lovely looking car. Wallace and Gromit would be proud of it. Still in Vauxhall's American period, I guess, influence, is this Vauxhall Cresta, PA Cresta, I believe. Lovely with those white wall tyres, two-tone and that baby blue paint. And look at that superb emblem on the bonnet. Harder than Blackpool Rock is this TVR Griffith 500. A lovely interior with a lot of those machined aluminium billeted controls that were so synonymous with TVRs at the time. And if it's original, this is an RS2000 with the X-Pac body kit, I think. And an Audi Coupe, a rat look, dare I say that? Audi Coupe. I'm sure it goes far better than it looks. Now this lovely looking engine bay, beautifully detailed, belongs to a Ford Escort Mark III facelift RS Turbo. From an era when colour coding everything the same as body colour was the thing to do. If you're into your Ford Cosworths, this is a Sierra Sapphire Cosworth in this lovely burgundy colour with some non-standard rims. I'm not sure why this MX-5 is winking at me. And this is a really nice pre-facelift BMW E30 convertible. Lovely detailed engine bay. Those super BBS style crossboat wheels, I think they might be metric. I'm not sure about finding tyres for these. I think that's probably a challenge. And the owner's acutely aware of obviously making sure that dashboard doesn't crack in the sun. Although it's a bit difficult with a convertible, isn't it? And the look is completed by the so-called Jimmy Hill front spoiler. Isn't that a lovely car? Great to chat with the owner as well. Another Capri 2.8 injection. I'm sure you've seen a few now. And my day would not be complete without a lovely old Mini. Probably not that old. It looks like it's from probably 94 by the plate. And a Lamborghini, oh, tested on this one, Aventador, not sure about that.
Keep coming Lambo,
and a Focus RS Cosworth. These are becoming collectible, and surely being as iconic as the Focus turned out to be for Ford, and a Cosworth, it's got to be one to have for the future. And we've got a Mazda RX-7. Listen to that rotary engine purr. Doesn't that sound amazing? And from the John Egan period with Jaguar is this 1991 Jaguar 4-litre XJ40, so-called XJ6. This particular one's for sale. You might just be able to see that pad to the right of the steering wheel, which shows the, at the time, revolutionary electronic controls. These weren't worth a lot up until fairly recently, but interest in the XJ40 series from the Egan period is certainly increasing. Although this might look like a very nice Jaguar XJS convertible, it's in actual fact a Lister converter vehicle. I'll have to have a look. I'm not sure whether it's packing the full 7 litres Lister engine, but it's certainly a nice looking car. Let's have a close-up on that Lister badge. It's certainly an unusual looking car, isn't it? Comparing for size, look at this tiny, diminutive little Lotus Elan. Isn't this beautiful? Looks like you could just put your arms around it and pick it up. Actually, it's fiberglass. Maybe you could. And this owner's brought out his Ford Galaxy 500 XL to play. We're so glad he did. That is a huge car, even by today's standard, isn't it? We really need a close look at the inside, don't we? So this is a 66 Ford Galaxy. It's hard to believe that these raced in touring cars. Not so great on the bend, but pretty good on the straights, I think, against the minis. And a nice early Corvette with its later sibling. It's a pretty special looking car with those monogram seats and that beautiful interior. There's not quite as much space as I imagined in that car, but it does look nice. And even from the back, it's a distinctive motor, isn't it? So here's a standard mechanically speaking, Mercedes 190e 1.8, but of course it's fitted with the Air Ride. Let's take a closer look. Complete with 17-inch wheels. But still recognisably a W2 or 190. Interior is standard, and you'll recognise how it looks, as any 190 owner does. Stereo's obviously been upgraded. That important front central armrest that I like so much. So the owner's going to build the pressure up on the vehicle now, and let's see how the height rises. So it's certainly looking a bit more street and usable now, isn't it? And now for that low rider look, it's just adjusting downwards, and it absolutely sits on those wheels, doesn't it? You wouldn't get my wife's credit card between the wheel and the wheel arch, would you? Just on its way out is this beautiful Mark II Golf with the larger bumpers. It looks like it's probably a 90/91. And this is another ADO 16, but this time it's a Vanden Plas, or Plus if you prefer, in I guess an Old English white. This is a low mileage, I guess 93, 94 Volvo 940 Estate. Still an incredibly useful vehicle today, and in actual fact becoming significantly more collectible. A Lotus Cortina, this one's C-plated, so I guess I think what, 1965 possibly. And next to it an absolutely immaculate Mark I Cortina 1500 Super. This one is actually from the same year. Well, it's a C-plated car, so probably 65. Lovely. And just to finish, a couple of E30s. This one's a coupe, a two-door 316i. And next to it, going further up the range with those lovely BBS-like, although they're not BBS wheels, is also a two-door, but it's a 325i. That's an 89 by the look of it. Whichever E30 is in your price range, both of these look super examples, don't they? So thanks for joining me on Lot 76 Cars at the Egham Classic Car Show this morning. Hope you've enjoyed some of the cars that we've seen. We've seen a real mix of British, European, American and Japanese vehicles. Really great to see a good turnout here, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.